We're back on the Lunchbox. It's Mike Mayo with Mike Luby Lubitz. We let Defoe go back to the sick bay. I do appreciate his efforts, and we want him to get better soon. But now joining us on the hotline, the Lunchbox hotline, is our friend of the show, longtime colleague of mine at the Sun Sentinel back when I was an ink-stained wretch. Dave Hyde, are you there? And are you the dean of South Florida sports writers, or does Greg Cody hold that distinction? Who is been doing it longer?
Dean, the dean. Remember when people were referred to like that in sports writing? Like
Yeah,
that was like the oldest guy. So thank God, Cody, keep hanging on, baby. You're the dean.
Well, the Pope was the Pope, and he was also the dean
Yeah,
for a long time. And
yeah,
we loved Eddie, and
yeah,
we
yeah.
miss
Well,
him.
everybody loved Edwin. Yeah, sure
Oh
do.
man. But actually, once we gone down that road, do you have a favorite Edwin story? Edwin Pope, of course, was the legendary Miami Herald sports columnist, and I used to love being on the road with him because he would tell stories over the glasses of. Waiter, I'll have a white wine. Let's bring another glass
He,
of
he,
that
he
white
would
wine.
he would he would do that, and then also you'd be sitting there, and someone would come up, some fan or some interrupt some great Edwin story, and keep talking and yakking about how's the team gonna do tomorrow? And Edwin would say, "Just a second, I gotta go to the restroom." And I'd put my head down because you wouldn't see him till the next day.
That was his.
I gotta go to
That,
the restroom. That was his signature. Goodbye. Um,
speaking of him
well,
going to the
okay,
restaurant. Go ahead.
here's an Edwin story I can tell. Okay, on it because he has a lot of. Edwin had a fun side to him, especially in his youth that he would talk about. But he was sitting in the Orange Bowl one time, looking for his wife, who was he had the binoculars on. I go, Edwin, what are you doing? I'm looking for Elaine, looking for my wife, and so he's looking out, and then he drops the binoculars real quick, and I said, what happened? He goes, I was looking at binoculars, and this was a time. There's a brief time when I started, you could still smoke in the Orange Bowl, and he goes, I was looking at her, and she was looking at back and being the binoculars, and I'm supposed to be quit smoking, and so she was seeing that he was smoking in the press box.
Oh,
So,
wow. Edwin, he did like his. What did he? He had not the menthol cigarette, but yeah, he was a smoker for a long time. And my favorite story was him talking about him going and making an exit to the bathroom, but about the time that he got frozen to the toilet seat at the Sarajevo Olympics in 1984. That
yeah,
was a hilarious way. I don't know how he got or managed to pry himself off. It was like an outhouse, I guess, outdoors at one of those skiing venues or something like that. But
he has another toilet story there where it's without toilet paper.
oh
And
god,
he's anybody got any toilet paper out there? Any toilet paper? And nobody answers. And he goes, anybody got 2 5s for a 10?
singles. If he had some singles, then he'd be in business. Oh man, we miss Edwin. Those are the good old days when, oh man, those press boxes at all the different sporting events around the state, and those big Florida games, and all the people. Yeah, it was good. All right, I'm getting all weepy and sentimental, but it's time to put away the sentiment and let's talk a little bit about this Dolphins season overall. And again, the game on Sunday, I guess everybody in the world was picking Buffalo in a runaway. And of course, everybody in the world was wrong because that's why they play the games. What were your impressions and takeaways of it?
Yeah, I was shocked like everybody else. I was shocked that with a third string quarterback, I was shocked on many levels that it was a close game and it was a fun game, highly entertaining. And Josh Allen kept both teams in it. He kept his team in it.
Yeah.
Bombs. And then for some bizarre reason, there's a line out there with Josh Allen, and if you can get him to cross it, and the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, Josh Boyer, did by tempting them by having press coverage with his cornerbacks and blitzing at times and daring Josh Allen to beat him, which Josh Allen did early on, but after that he kept throwing and kept missing, and he'd get sacked and lose the ball. Touchdown Dolphins, and
Picks, yep.
that's really that kept him. So that was a good surprise. It was shocking that
Uh-oh, we're getting a little cutting
They
in and
came
out.
back.
Okay.
Oh, they
Will
came
you?
back. Okay, you got me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got you.
yeah. Okay, we were getting cutting in and
Okay.
out.
Yeah. So I was shocked it was 17-0. They came back, and then looking at the full day, I was shocked. The Dolphins, they have a 7th-round rookie quarterback. He throws 45 times. They
Right.
run 20 times. They put a lot on his plate, and then it's just the unfortunate way that 4th down fiasco at the end with
Yep.
time running out, delay a game, and
And
all
it's
that.
a reminder that it's a rookie coach and a rookie quarterback, and that's what happens
Yeah.
sometimes in the big games. But given everything that was expected, now going forward, all right. So I asked you this. I kind of give you a little heads up, but if you were to equate the 2022 Dolphins season overall to a food dish or a restaurant, which would it be?
I was thinking of you said maybe quarter decks because fun place, a lot of everybody's having a good time, and then sometimes you say, well, maybe I had too good of a time, and then I overstayed it. And but I was thinking later, maybe a piece of cake does that. Like you just keep eating cake, like a
Hmm.
birthday cake, and you keep eating and eat, and it's great at first, and then it's like, oh, what's going on? I don't feel as good as I used to, and so an 8-3 season turns into 9-9. It's a good sugar buzz, but it's not what you thought it was when you took those first.
Yep. No, that's a good answer. I like that. I was trying to think of a place that has great appetizers, and then all of a sudden the meal trails off
Yep.
badly, and the waiter, you can't find them. They just disappear, and it's just like tails into this just a total disaster. But I guess along your cake analogy, I could put it along with maybe they were like a Skyline Chili. Like you first
There you
start,
go.
you get that big
Yeah.
heaping 5-way, and it looks all piled up with cheese, and it's good. And I don't know where you stand on Skyline as an Ohioan, Dave, as a Buckeye State person, but I love it starting. But then as you eat more and more of it, you get that little bit of a
Yeah.
squeamish feeling. So
I like the idea of it, but I went to Miami of Ohio, right up from Cincinnati, and everybody, all the Cincinnatians love Skyline Chili, and so I gotta have this, gotta have it. And I walk in and I look at it, and it sounds better than it was, in my mind.
it's not chili. It's basically spaghetti with
Right,
Greek meat sauce, and
right, exactly. It wasn't chili, exactly.
but so you're a thumbs down on Skyline. You don't go there anytime you're in
I mean, it's
Cincinnati.
not for me. You go ahead. You go ahead and eat it and
Well, you know who
all that
turned
stuff.
me
It's
on
not for
to it
me.
originally. You know who I've had my first Skyline experience with in Cincinnati in
Brian
the
White, I'm
yeah,
guessing.
Brian
Brian
White,
White.
our
Yeah,
old
yeah.
colleague and former sports editor of the Sun Sentinel. He turned me on to it. He loved the stuff, and it was not what I was expecting in terms of chili. Like I usually think of it being chunky and all that kind of stuff. But this was just thin gruel that could be substituted for motor oil, 10W40. But I love the stuff. I can't get enough. It's one of my, like I call,
Yeah,
the guilty pleasures of a supposed food snob foodie. I could eat Skyline Chili all day long, and sometimes I do, and I feel terrible about it, and I feel like the Dolphins at the end of their season, where it's like, oh my god, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Why did I do this? So, but okay, seriously, going forward, where is this team at? Can they trust Tua? Are they going to go with Tua? Do they have to get another quarterback? What's happening?
Well, the GM said yesterday, I can't say this any more clearly, Tua is the starter. And so you trust his word that he's a starter. Now, I'd be shocked if they don't bring in somebody as an insurance, at least as an insurance policy, because, the question becomes, is Tua's talent worth what
the
looks to be
issues.
every year some injury problem?
Right.
And it's got serious here with the concussions, and his health takes precedent over anything, especially with concussions. We know where this can go, and it's a scary thing to have happen. It's not a fun thing to write about. So there's the personal level, and then there's the corporate level, and if we're looking at it from the corporate level, the Dolphins they got him one more year on the cheap. I'd be astonished if they
Signed him to anything now. You
go
can't.
for the fifth-year option, which would be in the 20 millions. I forget, 28 million, I think. And
Did we lose him again? Dave, can you hear me? Come in, Dave.
yeah, am I losing you again?
Yeah, I don't know if it's us or you, but that's okay.
No, it's me. It's me. It's
okay.
me. I'll try to make sure I'm standing where I can see the satellite dish on my phone. Yeah, you saw the improvement in two this year when Mike McDaniel comes in with a fun offense, and he's got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle creating space in the offense, and so he took a big step this year. The question is there another step forward for him?
Right, and he's the starter until he gets his bell rung one more time, and then it's again. So,
yeah, I mean, you can go either way. There's tons of anecdotal evidence of players having concussions, and then they go away. They go on and have big long careers. And there's anecdotal evidence of players obviously having careers interrupted by concussions and stopped, or at least they become health concerns. And so the scary thing about Tua is he's small and he's slow. I mean, the surprising thing to me when he got here was he was slow. I thought for some reason he's small, but he has to be really athletic and fast. But he's not. And so that, just think of the gazelle on the Serengeti Plains being, that's that fearful thing about Tua when you're small and slow.
Yep. Well, I wanted to ask you, Dave, and we talked a lot, and I'll leave Chris Greer alone, even though I don't see why they are. Brought up Mike McDaniel here and there. What was your postscript? Peter King, a lot of people are being really tough on him for the end of that game. And again, when you have a 7th-round, third-string quarterback, when you're missing 2 offensive linemen, when your left tackle's been in and out of the lineup, and it's on the road, and he's mixing up downs. There's only so critical. Yeah, we all complained and bitched and moaned, but there's only so critical to me you could be of him, especially since you're in that place at that point, and they shouldn't be. What is your postscript on Mike McDaniel's first year?
Well, let's look at the big picture. The big picture is Mike McDaniel's asked to do 2 things as I see it, 2 primary things. 1, make the playoffs. He did that. And 2, get some answers on Tua Tagovailoa, this guy they invested. They really had a tear down and a massive rebuild with this central idea of getting a franchise quarterback. So they need answers on Tua. He did both those things. He got him to the playoffs, and you got a lot of information on Tua. Now the question is, do you apply that information correctly? And because you see what he can do when there's very good protection, and he can tear apart a defense or be part of that. And you also saw what happens if he gets a pass rush. When Joey Bosa sacks him 3 times, his game wasn't there. And so, what do you do with that information now? And they're going to make him a starter, and let's see what little tweaks they do to their offense to help them.
Interesting. All right, I'm going to get back to food here. Were you or were you not in Buffalo? It looks like you did the game from here. Am I right or wrong? What did you eat for dinner Sunday night? Was it wings or was it stone crab?
It would have been stone crabs if given those 2 cities. This was a situation. Look, as you know, we got Chris Perkins and David Fronis covering the team, and we were sending 2. And I told them, hey, send those 2. They've been out there every day with practice.
This is why you're the dean of the Sun Sentinel sports writers, because Buffalo in January, Dolphins have no shot. I'll just stay home. I could just give all the analysis I need from the TV and all that.
Yeah. So I did the Panasonic City, which used to be a no-no in sports writing, but I think since the pandemic, it's especially as a way to save some budgetary money. It's seen as a good thing.
Yeah, no, and if I had known that, I would have stayed in sports 20 years ago. I could have, if I knew I could just do it the Mitch Albom style. Oh, wait, I don't want to let that cat out of the bag, but
Oh man, I was in Buffalo since I was thinking about 1990. Every year I went to Buffalo until this year. I didn't go to either game there.
wow,
And
that's
I think I had a better life for it. I think I really had a better life.
you are living your best life now. I mean, that is a tremendous accomplishment. Like me going 0-6 in my picks last week. I had the reverse parlay against the spread. It was unbelievable, and but you managed to avoid Buffalo in a season where the Dolphins actually played pretty well up there. So yeah, that's
yeah. It's I'll say this for this Dolphin season. I hate myself sometimes having to be critical of everything, but it was a fun
year.
Fun offense. It was a fun offense. They played a lot of fun games, very entertaining. And
December, not so much fun. That was no fun.
I was going to say until December. If they just closed out, 2-3 or even 1-4 or something, instead of they had this brutal losing streak where a lot of the good news went off the table a little bit, or you had to sit back and say, maybe not. So we'll see what next year brings. But it was an entertaining year, and I can't always say that.
That's good. No, it was. Look, it made me want to watch, and I even wanted to watch the whole, playoff game as much as I thought they were going to get destroyed, and I did, and I was a better person for it. And obviously because I had a bunch of beers and some wings at Shenanigans, so that was good. But and you got to come up there sometime. You talked to Pat Arter the last time you were on the show. He's a hoot. He's a good guy. He's a good dude. So
get me up there. There.
Yeah, when we do a remote show, now that you have a little more time. Oh yeah, we got to get into Panthers season. I mean, and I know you got to go. We got to do another break. But what do you think about my favorite team and Doug Sifu, my favorite executive of all time? Because you can't spell
What happened?
Sifu
What happened? What
without
happened to
FU.
them? I mean, that's a whole. I need to get up there and now that
Get under
football
the
is
hood.
over and
Yeah.
and talk to some people, but it looks like the wheels just fell off of what was. That last year there was a chance of we want 10, and this fun Harlem Globetrotter offense, and you knew that wasn't going to be back because that was. They talked that didn't work in the playoffs. We need to adjust stuff. So fired the coach and brought in, a guy with Maurice with a different system. And
system ain't working.
It's just not working.
And it's a team that'll drive you to drink now. And I went to my first and probably only game of the year with my daughter over the winter break to see my Rangers. And don't drink beer there because it'll cost you. I got one beer. Did you? Can you guess the price without going over of one Molson in a 24-ounce can that I bought at one of their stands? Guess the price, Dave.
I know I got an email from someone complaining parking there was, I think, if I remember, $35.
Defo complaining. Yes, it was $35, no cash, only cards accepted. Yes, so that
Defo, you're right. It
was whammy number one, and he was whining like an old. Well, he is an old Jewish man. So, but yeah, the $35 parking.
$15. I'm gonna go $15.
No, higher. $20.01. I still don't know how it happened because I added in a tip and I thought it was $18 and I gave 10%. I thought it was going to be $19.80 and it turned out to be $20.01 on my credit card. I don't know how that happened. I don't know why they need the extra 1 cent. But $20
Molson Canadian exchange rate or what?
It might have been the Canadian loony tax or something. But that was painful along with the Panthers' performance that day. But anyway, hey, so one more quick lightning round here, and I know we're going to let you go. Super Bowl prediction: who's going to be in it? Who's going to win it?
Who's still in it? Let's see. Kansas City and. Do I trust and I'll say San Francisco.
Yeah. All right, rematch.
San Francisco.
Rematch City.
Yeah, it is. Of the one here a few years ago, right?
Yes,
yes,
indeed.
And Kansas City won that, right? In the last
Yes. San
Patrick
Francisco
Mahomes
ended
took
up
him down the field at the end.
Mahomes.
Yeah.
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 So
So
maybe
that's I don't trust Buffalo. I mean you got to tell me that they rely so much on Josh Allen, and he steps over the line a lot, and so I'll go with Kansas City. And San Francisco, what a story. Brock Murphy
Purdy.
Purdy. So he can't even get his name right.
That's all right.
The last guy in the draft, and becoming a super. That'd be shocking.
It would be, but stranger things have happened. All right, so that's the Super Bowl pick. Second lightning round question. Luby was asking me what kind of eater you were, and I kind of maybe blacked out everything from our days on the road together. But how would you describe yourself as a foodie? You grew up in Ohio.
Been here a long time though.
Yeah, no.
How would I describe myself? You know what? So I just did this book with Jimmy Johnson, and there's a few things I could relate to him about. One is I drink Heineken Lights, and that's because when I was 21, I was backpacking through Europe and was in Amsterdam, and I went to the Amsterdam brewery, and if it was your birthday, you got a free mug. And so I got a free, so I was a fan for life, Heineken. And the other thing is, he doesn't like to sit down and
have a full
spend
meal.
2 hours eating, and that's sort of me. I am like when I go out on the road, I like to walk around the town, and I'll just slip in and have a beer here, maybe something to eat.
Okay.
Other guys go out. Let's go. We'll have dinner here. I'm not that guy. I'm not.
No, you're not a 5-course tasting menu.
I know, right?
Yeah, you're a 5-way, not even a 5-way Skyline Chili guy. You just don't even want the chili. Just give you a coney dog to go, and that's it. But yeah, you're one of those eat to live kind of guys, whereas you know that I am a live to eat kind of guy. And
I remember being with you in Tallahassee, Mike, and we went to some restaurant. And
did we go to the Slipper, the Silver Slipper?
Could it have been the glass? The
Silver Slipper was the place that had the curtains and all the dirty dealing got done behind those curtains with all the lobbyists.
It could have been there. You ordered. You perused the menu and went over it and everything, and then you said, "I'll order the wine." And so you're slipped into your right role, and me, I was like, whatever, whatever. That sounds good, So
we all found our destiny, and your destiny is with Jimmy Johnson, as you mentioned, swagger. How do people get that if they haven't gotten it yet? And just to talk a little bit about that.
Wherever you read a book, it will be there. Whether it's Amazon or Books and Books and Gables or wherever you go.
Barnes and Noble. I think there's still a few of them. BarnesandNoble.com.
Yep.
Go get that great book, Swagger, by Jimmy Johnson with Dave Hyde.
And actually, a tie-in. The Cowboys play the 49ers in the playoffs this weekend, and that was
a big
some bizarre stories. In fact, down in Jimmy's restaurant right now in Key Largo, there's a wooden chest with 2 big brass balls in it that were sent to him after he said, he predicted on the call-in show, he's driving down the highway, called in and predicted that the Cowboys were going to beat the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Caused a big stir, and George Seifert said, I don't know if he's got balls. I don't know if they're brass or paper mache.
Right.
He said, well, they sure are paper mache. And there he's got the brass balls down in the restaurant. So a little tie into this week's game.
Wasn't that the original working title of the book, Balls, or am I misremembering that?
Brass balls.
No, but maybe it should have been. That would have been pretty good. I thought Swagger was good, but Balls might have been better.
It's kind of an interesting title, and it kind of sums up. He's a football coach, and that's it. All right, Dave, I've chewed up enough of your day and absolutely destroyed it. But I do appreciate you joining us on the Lunchbox. As always, it's good to catch up. And don't be a stranger. I'll get you up to Broward, and we'll eat some wings and drink some beer. Maybe one of these playoff weekends. Get you up here. Pat Utter.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Good talking to you. Just like old times, Mayo.
Yep, it is all good. I'm all smiles. Thanks, Dave.